Hello.
Hello.
Is my, yeah, good. I was worried that my sound wasn't working. Let's see if there are still people hanging around in the stewards call. No, there isn't. So then we might as well get started. 1 second.
Yeah, we changed times now. So it's SoftGov before this call. Stewards moved to Tuesday.
Okay, cool. Where is my... This is weird. Discord won't let me share. Let's try this. Yeah, now it works. So, welcome everyone to the Rewards Working Group meeting. It's April the 6th. I, for one, is tired and don't have any big discussion topics in the back of my head. So I think we'll go right ahead and do the status updates. Unless someone would like to add something to the agenda, then we could do that before we take the status updates. We if you have any big discussion topics you would like to bring up, so that we know how much time we can spend on the status updates. Do anyone have something to add to the agenda? Okay, then let's jump right into the status update, and we'll start off with praise, and I'd like to pass it to Nebs. Perhaps would like to start this time.
Yeah, okay. So I was on the vacation last week, and this week I started working on the praise. So we are trying to embed links from the praise reason. So we're trying to do something like Facebook have or something like that. Yeah, that one. And currently I'm working on that. And it's more complex than we thought it would be.
Yeah, because it's not only parsing links and displaying the attached these embed previews. It's also handling Markdown, because messages in Discord can contain Markdown, such as bold and italics and that kind of stuff. And so that's the second thing we need to parse for. And then the third thing we need to parse for is the special Discord tags that are embedded a bit here and there. So this is the praise main screen, and when you reference another user, that comes is sent using this Discord tag format. Of course, it would be nice if the dashboard accurately showed the real person's name instead of a series of numbers. So my guess is that will keep you busy for an hour or two more.
Yeah, it will.
But it will be really nice when we migrate to this. So my idea is that we try to use this way of presenting praise on the platform everywhere where we present praise, basically, except for the quantify screen.
Yeah, we don't want it on quantify screen.
No. So, who would like to go next?
I can go. So big ticket I did this week was just going over time zone handling. I went over the whole application and just like double checked everything, made sure we weren't like confusing time zones and how we were storing and displaying stuff, and then and just like reviewed everything. And so right now all the time zones are all of the except for the period end dates, which are going to be displayed and entered in UTC. All other dates in the application will be displayed in the user's local time zone. And then I did a bunch of other kind of smaller tickets. A little UI improvement to the login page, the weekly dividers, and then refactoring some front-end logic that may have been producing inconsistent bugs.
Yeah. No, a bunch of small good fixes. And let's see, what have I been doing? I have not been coding anything the last week, more or less. And ViViV is not here. And neither is Mike or Grail. So let's move on to next big section, the RAD Dashboard. Nugget and Seaway, please, who would like to go first?
Yeah. Oh. Hey, can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty bad though, Nugget again.
Okay. Yeah, I had some travel issues and I'm still on the train. Sorry. Well, first of all, I'd like to introduce to Wei. She's going to be helping out with the RAD dashboard. So please, I'll pass it to you to introduce yourself.
Yeah, so maybe my internet is not great either.
We can hear you.
We can hear you well.
We hear you too.
Okay, great. Yeah, so hi. Formally last week, and
You sound good.
yeah, what's that?
No,
You're
it's fine. It just cut for a minute.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my background is in neuroscience and cognitive science, and here I'm doing kind of a data science job on the dashboard. And I got to know Livy from the reward research with the TE Academy. So yeah, glad to join. And for the dashboard, yeah.
No, I was just going to say words like we're really glad to have you. I'm looking forward to see what the RAD dashboard can become now that it is more of an official project with two persons. One person doesn't make a project, two persons make a project.
Yeah, magical number. So yeah, right now what we're doing is trying to have a clear documentation of what's the current work stream for the RAD dashboard is for running each round, so people can just open the GitHub and figure out how to run it. And then there will be some next step things like how to make better looking HTML for non-coders to look into the data, both the raw distribution and some analysis. Then we'd like to bring that to the community to discuss more about what analysis do we really need, what are the insightful things we can get from it.
Then let's pass it to Mitch for quantification.
Yeah, sure. We're looking pretty good here. Got a few people like Libby, Zep, Mount Manu, just to finish their quantifications, and I think this round is close enough to done. We've got a review session tomorrow. I can't remember the exact time, but let's see here. 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, or 1 o'clock, sorry. And so if you guys want to join, it's on the TEC calendar, and we'll have that review session there. And business as usual, we'll set up the next round on Friday for December 2021. We're almost done with the year, guys. That's pretty exciting. We flew through it pretty quick. And then we'll go through that. We'll set up the schedule for the review session. Or maybe we'll just, what do you guys think? Should we find a fixed time for this thing, or?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about this time I just scheduled for this review one? That's 1 p.m. CST.
CST, and what?
You
would
can
that
see it on
be?
the Google Calendar for token engineering. Can anyone?
That's 9 o'clock CET. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That works for me. It's 1 hour before the community call, right?
I believe so.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, it's right after.
Yeah.
Yeah, right after. Mm-hmm. Can anyone, like, maybe not all of you are interested in it, but like, it's cool to have like Nugget, Christopher, Livy. You know, I'm kind of looking at you guys. No, Christopher can't do it. Somebody like Nugget or Z-Way, who maybe knows more about the RAD dashboard, one or the other.
Would we like to present something from the dashboard?
Well, we'll be using the RAD dashboard to present it to the quantifiers or
Right.
anybody else who joined the call. And so it would be good to have someone there in case there's feedback, or if we have trouble loading it, or we're trying to understand the information being presented.
I
Okay,
guess
yeah.
the dashboard the RAD dashboard will be the main tool for gaining the insights during the insight session. So hopefully a lot of new ideas will pop up about, new analysis needed, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will be there. I will be the quantifier too.
I'm sorry, Mitch. I had some issues. I think you mentioned me, but I didn't get what you were asking. Sorry.
Oh, we want to have a set time every week for this review session. So we're proposing 9 p.m. CET on Thursdays.
Okay.
So since we're using the RAD dashboard as the primary tool for the review sessions, it would be good to have one or both of you there.
Yeah, I'll be there, and I think that time generally would work for me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And Livy, you said that's cool?
Yeah, that's cool for me.
Okay, well, we'll have to make do without a Christopher, but
I'd love to be there, but my evening meeting schedule is maxed out as it is. So
yeah, cool. We'll have the notes and everything. Okay, so tentatively we'll try and fix that for every week, and then we can skip this whole doodle poll thing every week. But then apart from that, business as usual. And,
any parameter change? No parameter changes for next period, I guess.
We turned off the pseudonyms, so I'd be cool to see what happens in the review session with that, how people feel. But no other modifications.
Cool. Thanks. And from status from the reward board, the work in the reward board has moving a bit slowly since last week. We don't have that much new updates. I can report what I suggested to the reward board group, or to maybe more to Nagan and Chewy, Septi more specifically, is that we I like us. I would be happy if you could make a draft of the parameters and the budget allocations that we propose for all periods, starting from last summer till June. The stuff that we have been discussing in the reward board chat. I think that this would be an okay process, that you make a draft of trying to summarize what we have discussed and make a proposal to the group. And if the group okays it, sort of, then we will present it to the greater community for advice on the forum. And if nothing big comes up, then we'll proceed with doing the first payout. How does that sound? Nice. And I think we mostly have like 90% of the information for doing that that draft proposal. There was have been some discussion about how much to allocate to source cred now when we don't have source cred until May or something, but that is like the final detail to be sorted out, and I don't think it's a contentious issue either. So, what else has been happening in the reward board? Yeah, we have lost one team member, one board member. That is worth noting or reporting. The person formerly known under the username of Ryder has left the reward board. I don't remember the new username. It is aka Roro. So we are one person short. I don't know if we need to find a new member or if we're good.
I don't think there was a rule. If I remember, we didn't need like a minimum amount, but I could be wrong.
There was not a rule, but that affects the voting, because those were the people that had tokens to vote in the DAO. So if we have a person less, we have just more of a responsibility, the ones voting, to reach the quorum.
Isn't the quorum a percentage? No, it's a. So then the less people we have, the fewer people need to vote to reach the quorum. Isn't the opposite way around? The bigger the group, the more people need to vote to reach the percentage.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right.
Anything else reward board related?
I think it's still not clear for me how we're doing the distribution. So I know there was this talk about like maybe getting community input on how much we use for the distribution, but I think this could be for the distribution after the money from the initial buy, right? Was that something that made sense? Or I don't know if everyone is on the same page there.
Sorry, I'm not following now. The initial buy, isn't it? That is the only money the board has to spend.
Yeah, but that has, I mean, those funds are limited, and we discussed one day to have a smaller distribution until those funds end, and then after that we could discuss using a percentage of the common pool, and then we talked maybe like a 1% of the common pool. So I'm wondering if we want community input from now on, even in the funds from the initial buy, or we want just for the ones after these funds are over.
I think it seems fair that we present how we plan to use the funds that we already have. and get some kind of okay on that. And then also quite soon we need to present a proposal on or I guess request funds for the future, because those funds run out in June, and June is around the corner. So in my mind, it would be two proposals to the community. One for the period from June last year to June this year, using the funds that we already have, and then another proposal for this more long-term funding.
Yeah, that makes sense. And is that what?
Sorry.
Is that what you were working on, Nugget, with Optimus? Or something different?
Well, our first draft was more like preparing the forum posts for the distributions, but we can also take that on into the proposal about what to do with about when we describe the parameters. Yeah, I think we can just also two options and get community input there. I guess.
Isn't it best to package everything into one forum post that describes, you know, the funds we would like to spend per period, the parameters, or the parameters we have been using, so it's not much, it's not up to a vote or to we don't even do an advice process for that, because we are already quantifying. So maybe that we don't need to include. So it's mostly about, I guess, the budget allocations per period, and how much we would like to distribute and when, sort of.
Yeah, sure, yes.
But of course, maybe we should also summarize and describe these are the parameters we have been using for quantifying, I guess.
Yeah. That's we can do that. What do you think, Dewey?
I'm sorry, I couldn't find my unmute button. Actually, I had a request to see if we can have access to some RAD Dashboard kind of like screenshots or demos, just any content that we can support some tweets and the forum post with. That would be very helpful, I think. Or if anyone here already has anything in mind, that content could be great supporting content just to until there's just more developed and content like the quantification tutorial and similar stuff.
So that's
You are difficult to understand today, Nagan, and it's not because of your accent.
Sorry, it's just very windy here. I don't know. Maybe like this, I don't know. There's awful weather. Anyway, I'll send you stuff to you.
Yeah, let's continue the discussion about this forum post, etc. Async, and so my suggestion is that you make a draft, and we'll discuss it in the reward board chat, and then massage it a little bit together and comment it, and then post it to the community. So onboarding and education. This is something we have touched a little bit, but we haven't spoken so much about it. Do you have something to report there, Livy, Vi, and Edu? Vi is not here.
Go ahead, Livy.
Yeah, so there's not too much, but we talked about it briefly at the communities call this week about introducing an onboarding, a piece for the reward system onboarding in the onboarding flow that Gideon and Edu are working on. And then Vi suggested that is a separate flow. So like at some point people are guided to the onboarding, but that it's not necessarily in the same flow as the onboarding to the TC. Yeah.
So in the way that we are creating the onboarding at this moment, there is a process that there are three kind of users that we acknowledge in the TC. This is a temporary subjective classification, but the first one is a newcomer. 4 types actually: visitor, newcomer, new member, and a member. So basically, and there comes a question with what is a TC member and what not, but one of the things that we want to acknowledge is that from becoming a new member, or from becoming a newcomer to a new member, or a new member to a member, we can give tasks or bundles of tasks to people that could be really easy to do. Tasks, for example, that already exist within transparency or within communities, for example, recording the calls, or welcoming people, or things like that. Very simple, easy to do tasks. I think on that kind of set of tasks, we can have one for quantification or reward working group. At a certain level, I will guess you guys will have to sort of customize and how someone sort of new and accomplish this, or what will be the things necessary for someone to accomplish this without interrupting the work stream that you guys have, which is the key part of this. But I will say that it will be from new member to member. New member is already someone who has joined our orientation call, someone who has spent roughly a month in the TEC or something along those lines, but someone who has not found a right spot to plug in. So this could be a task for someone to become a member of the TEC, is to do quantification or join a session of the reward working group. I don't know if that makes sense, Libby.
Yeah, that was an open point that we said needed more discussion, because this is very subjective of like, when is someone ready to quantify? We discussed this at some of the tweak sessions. I think they changed the name, right? Review sessions.
Yeah. No more tweaking.
No more tweaking.
No tweakers allowed.
Yeah. So we discussed kind of like, maybe a person could come to one of those sessions before starting to quantify, or we could suggest a little flow that we just need to brainstorm a little more. So
the other option that I may suggest is to have a dummy kind of landing page, sort of a little kind of, if it's possible to do, I have zero clue about this, but it's just like have sort of an option or a link specifically for newcomers that they can praise test, sort of, do some testing of the praise, and if they pass it on, then they can actually go into praise system.
Like just like a staging or a development server.
Correct.
Yeah, you could just put in dummy quants and then let people go to town.
Yes, but for example, you can just if you want to have more automation in that process, just compare that. Take any of the real quantifiers, compare all praise with this person input, and if they match, let's say 8 to 10, 8 out of 10 of the original already praised, then that person qualifies. If that person doesn't, sort of fulfill those parameters, then they cannot quantify because they don't have enough sort of expertise on that. That's just a suggestion for an easy way for someone new that doesn't need someone to take them by the hand and sort of take them through, all this process. For someone to sort of do that is the only thing I can think about on how to plug this into the orientation onboarding process of someone.
You're talking about the quantification simulator.
Correct.
It's a game in a number of steps. You have to overcome the final boss by your quant score cannot deviate from the quant score of Lord Boss Mitch too much.
Correct. Something along those lines. I mean, I feel we on the orientation call we provide certain insight about the praise system. But we still don't provide enough. So I feel like if you guys have, I don't know if you guys have think about this, but just like a, simple update of, for example, the Gitbook definition of the praise, that definition needs to be updated. That will be helpful so we can sort of, because right now we explain praise as it was, let's say in a way. We say that it's a combination in between an update of the system that quantifies and qualifies, and people have quantification sessions, all this stuff. But it's more exciting to see it, and I think so. If you guys have any kind of description or this accurate description of what it is, I think it will be helpful for people to get enthusiastic about it and enroll into it.
Yeah, I made a list of things that need to be done. So one, suggesting people attend a quant review call once before quantifying. I mean, it shouldn't be like mandatory, but something that could be helpful for them. And then a quick guide on how to be more specific on praising. I think the better people start praising, the easier it will be for quantifying. So like, how could we identify those things? And this is part of this education of like how integrated people are in the community. But I think if it can be a slow ramp up too. So like maybe incentivizing people to praise in alignment with our MVV, and then start identifying things that are unrelated to the TC.
I'd like to offer the reverse perspective there, that update the MVV according to the insights we get from people's praise, rather than asking people to praise according to the MVV.
In the long run, right?
Yeah, and I am kind of serious that I think it's difficult. I'm not no fan of mission, vision, values. I believe those to be most often theoretical constructions. They are not deeply anchored in the community for real often, and especially over time they sort of get forgotten. So it would be nice to have a constant process of updating those paper tigers with the actual what we sense from the quantification sessions, the review sessions, what people actually seem to value, given that we can gain insights from the praise data.
That's the biggest gift the analysis will give us. Like, we'll be able to see if the mission of our system is actually the theoretical, like if the actual mission is actually it matches the theoretical mission, and then we can adjust accordingly. But what I mean is just that we need to have some type of guide to understand what is in the scope of the TC.
Absolutely.
Like what if people are praising a project that has nothing to do with token engineering, or that it kind of goes against our like code of conduct, the way we respect each other, or I don't know, things like that. Just a minimum guide.
For sure.
Can I track back on a little bit on this? Like, is there any, besides the quantification, let's say, process, is there any easy to do role that can flag, let's say, praise on the praise channel, for example? Like someone who just like check, oh, this steward did this praise correctly, just to say as an example. This is one thing. Just I'm thinking, and the reason why I mentioned this because I'm thinking easy tasks that can be done, and by doing them, can someone learn and can get plugged into the reward system working group without so much of a barrier. Like if you have to go through 3 meetings in order to read a bunch of documentation in order for you to sort of have an entry level, that's not an entry level, that's a middle to sort of expert level thing in order to be able to plug it into a working group. So I would just drop the suggestion to think on ways that someone new can get engaged without so much of an effort. It will require an effort, but not so much of a high barrier knowledge in order to do so. Because we are aiming that every working group will have certain roles that will be like this, easy as recording their calls for transparency, easy as welcoming people in for community tasks and so on. So that is an intention. So if you guys can come up with something like that, it will be amazing. More also to have certain flow of people that could also keep quantifying, because as we saw on the previous quantification processes back in the day, it's people start like getting tired of doing a little bit so repetitively. So
it is your civic duty to quantify praise. Okay, like it's so much easier when there's lots of people to do it, and people will actually get picked less frequently to do the work. So I mean, it's like not really something I want to be as like, oh, if you have the bandwidth for it, like think about doing it. It's like, do it, join, do your duty. So I just want to put it out like that.
We'll edit this, the last 10 seconds, we'll edit out and make it into a tweet and publish with your...
Please do. And the other thing regarding, Libby, what you mentioned on people sort of becoming aware, I will just say, take 2 minutes of the next community call rewarding group session and just make people praise correctly. Just tell them, hey, take these 2 minutes of the call. We will be in silent and you will just praise whatever you want on the praise channel correctly. And, there's these kind of things needs to be sort of be more active rather than passively. And I feel like educating people about how to praise correctly needs to be done actively, non-passively. Documentation won't do anything if it's just sitting there. I think in that way, sorry.
Yeah, I just want to be careful to not be annoying, I don't want people to think that it's annoying to praise. So maybe just little by little, like, hey, like if you praise one person at a time, or if you do that like slowly, we can all like share some of that in different working groups. That would be helpful.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy to check up on them in the channel. You can go in the praise thing, filter by username, and like just see if they're, it can be an overtime thing, like Livy's saying.
A lot of great ideas. Great work. I'm looking forward to see more. I guess to start with, it's we need to update documentation. We need to make sure that someone that needs to become a quantifier can get the information they need, etc. The basic stuff. Yeah. Cool.
I've been adding little by little to that, and I remember, Chewy, we talked about making a video for this, or maybe I'm totally wrong.
For the quantification, you mean?
Yeah, didn't we talk about this like many months ago?
Yeah. Actually, the animation team has been working on a script. Let me send the last version of it, which already has some feedback, but we just haven't released the new revision yet. But I'm gonna post it in the reward system channel. And yeah, if anyone has like any feedback, I mean, we were waiting until it's like closer to its final form and just like more accurate to present it in this call. But if anybody would like to join the just the development of it. Yeah, we go through these revisions every Monday. I'll post it in the reward system.
That is so fantastic that this kind of stuff is happening. So I just constantly remind myself that, or that this is stuff that reminds me that this is not some boring old corporation that all of a sudden some team are doing an animation about the stuff that we are doing. Fantastic.
Yeah, I think for next week we're gonna have a storyboard as well. Yeah, so yeah, the storyboard should have just more clarity around how we want to like create this narrative. So yeah, it's a tough process at the beginning, but I'm pretty confident it's gonna be worth it.
Then we are sort of how do you say, slipping. We're starting talking about communication, which is a good thing because that is the next and last topic: communication, analysis, transparency. We have touched on this slightly before. We talked about the animation, and we described this proposal for the parameters. Nagan and Septi and Chui, do you have anything more to say about communication? Chui, you also told us to come up with a good tweet material.
Yeah, on my side, like for covering the Twitter planning and this part, it would be nice to have this content. And about the forum post, I haven't really had a time lately to put into this. But yeah, I'm in contact with Septi and Nagan about just like some different approaches and notes that we want to implement in the document. So yeah, this is also going to be supporting the forum material would be supporting the tweets itself, because the call of action is just to engage in the conversation. So it's one of the things that we've been looking for.
So you are envisioning a forum post that is not also the one that I've been talking about, because I've been talking about the forum post that describes the budget allocations and the parameters and all all those details. And I guess that you're talking about another post.
Oh, I think it's the same one, right, Nagan?
I think we can do either one really big one or just cut it in half. Maybe it's better to cut it in two parts and have one more, down to the numbers and another more general, which we can link people to, and which already also has the whole stuff that Mitch wrote for people to really dive into the stuff. So yeah, I think we can cut it in half.
Okay, yeah, because my understanding of it was that it was meant to be like a thread, and then the same like parameter updates were gonna be like replies on the same thread, so that it's just easier to track. But yeah, if someone here thinks that, and anyone else thinks that it's a good idea to split it, yeah, I think it can also work.
Yeah, because what we have talked about is publishing the insights from not the tweak session, but the review session afterwards as well. So I guess that would be the summary. Mitch, you don't agree?
No, I'm off somewhere else, Christopher. Don't look at my head.
So that would be the ideal situation in my mind, that after each praise quantification round has closed, we publish a post with some insight, a well-selected graph, and a summary of the parameters we used, and then on and on for each rewards round, and also linking to the GitHub repository where you can find all the raw data. And then that could start as a one post, and then we reply to that, or it will be a new section in the forum completely. A quantification.
Do you wanna have any like tables with addresses or anything? Like address got X amount? Is that interesting?
I don't think so. I mean, the thing is, it's going to be public anyway for anybody who just goes to the GitHub and looks that up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for the forum post, it would be better to just reduce it to the usernames, probably, which are public anyway.
Okay. Yeah, because we do something extremely similar right now for givebacks. Every 2-week distribution, we have a forum post, and it's like pretty cut, dry to standard, and it works pretty well. You get advice process, like there's a 48-hour gap between the information being published and the distribution going out.
And you also remember this old long yellow graphic that was made each time?
Oh God. There's a way easier way to do that, you know, but sure.
Yeah. But something that fills the same purpose at least.
Yeah, that's something that we brought up in a discussion too. Do we want to keep track of top praise receivers for maybe like a year, and then in December we give out POAPs or something like that? Is that something we want to do or not? Or do we want to keep it like for each 2 weeks just separately and not make some kind of store, like don't store the praise from 1 week to the next, and to have people just getting enormous praise whales?
I think we definitely want to do cross period analysis of some kind. Discuss that with Siwi.
But I mean like a scoreboard, something that we want to use in the community as a kind of like motivational stuff or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Of course, for analysis, we should look at all the different rounds and compare them. Sure.
For future versions of praise, I would say that is definitely something to include into the praise dashboard. So some basic metrics that could be both on a like yearly or monthly basis, calendar following the calendar, and it could also be per quantification period. But that is not the top priority just now. But someday. And until then, I think would be super cool to do some those kind of metrics.
Cool.
So I think we are approaching the top of the hour. I don't have any more items on the agenda. Would someone else? We have 8 more minutes. Would someone? The floor is open.
Maybe I missed it from the beginning of the call, but are there any cool feature releases coming out? Like from all the stuff that we put into the GitHub pipelines?
Let's see.
I would love to have the button to message all the quantifiers, or like the duplicate UI update, like, you know.
The duplicate UI update is like I mentioned last time, is not it's one of the more significant UI things we have been talking about, especially since I, for one, cannot remember having seen anything like it before. The thing where you mark one thing and then you mark a bunch of other thing and tell them, you know, these 5 items are connected to this first item.
I mean, like as a backend issue or a UX issue?
No, as a UI, you know, it needs to be. It's a fairly complicated thing to hack.
It seems okay. I mean, you probably know more than I do, but it seems straightforward. But anyway.
But it's all a matter of priorities, of course. And we have, let me just describe where we are at just now with the building. We have some stuff. The messaging, all quantifiers, it's in the pipeline. It's basically done. I gave VivaV a bunch of feedback when it comes to just wording and so it will get some polishing, but the basic functionality is done. It works. So expect that in the before next meeting at least.
Mm-hmm.
And what other features do we have here in the pipeline? We are planning a help command, and we are planning a who am I command for the bot. The help command will be just super brief, like this is how you use the commands. So it's a simple thing. And the who am I will give you some stats about yourself, like what Ethereum address have I connected, etc. Because I've noticed that a few people have asked, how do I know if I'm activated, etc. And also that is also a simple thing, just query the database displayed to the user. What other, so those are the only like new features that we have here in the sprint backlog, which is what is happening next. And then in the product backlog, we have a bunch of stuff that we would like to do, and then it's good to know what you feel is most prioritized. If this marking as duplicates is prioritized, then we'll move it up in our
in my head, this is going to be a big UX update. So if Chewy's making a video about how to like do this stuff, and we've got onboarding documentation, it's like, you know, it would be a shame for him to make a video about something and then we change it drastically. And it needs to change. That's what we realized.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually trying to bring down like the number of actual demos in the video, just to avoid this kind of issue, because yeah, it's one of the things that made us you know, like delay the animation proposal like for some months, and it's because of these kinds of changes. So we're trying to, like, with the narrative, like get around that, but yeah, like at some point we'll need like some kind of yeah, just like reference. But yeah, we can wait for that. I mean, it can be like a last thing addition.
Let's find that duplicate. Where it is. Do we have anything else? We have like 1 more minute. Anything else on the feature wish list that someone is thinking about?
I think the emojis thing would be actually really nice and like a pretty small ask.
Over the quantifier.
Yeah, it was like different emojis for each level of for each score.
I threw some stuff in there.
Yeah, everything is in here, but it's so much, so we need help to prioritize it. Because we won't get to the end of the Icebox future features list anytime soon. Okay, cool. I moved the emojis there took it from the Icebox to the product backlog. And the product backlog is the stuff that we actually plan to implement. And the Icebox and future features is the stuff that we might implement. But we are out of time. If I can share this the link to this board, so everyone can have a look also, and please give us feedback on what you would like to see implemented, what is most important. So thank you everyone for today.
Great. Thanks, Christopher. Finish your quant.
Finish the quants.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, bye.
Thanks everyone. See you later.